We're live! Welcome to the Artsy-Fartsy Joy Club, Session 3. How are you? Welcome, welcome. So guess what we're going to do today? We're going to do something I call Tutti Frutti ice cream! Yay! So, the supplies you'll need. I've got some markers here, a glue stick, some scissors, paper, of course, scrap paper, because when we use a glue stick, we always want to protect our work surface. I've got my cheat sheet, so you know it's a good play session if I only need 2 Post-its to remind myself what we're going to do today. And I've already created 1 sample for us today. So super easy. Actually, I think you might want a black marker. I'm going to grab this guy. That might be nice. Okay, so what are we doing? We are going to very quickly create some fodder to make a collage. And our collage is going to be a Tutti Frutti ice cream. Now, Tutti Frutti was something I loved as a kid. I don't know why. And I actually had to Google, what does Tutti Frutti ice cream look like? Because I remember it being vanilla-ish, like cream-colored, and then all the little bits in there. And I saw some pictures where it was pink, like maybe it was strawberry flavored. I don't remember that one, but we can make it up. You can make it any color you want. Because basically all we're doing is scribbling with colors and then cutting shapes to make an ice cream together. So if you want, we could start with a blank sheet of paper, and we're going to create the container that we're going to stick our ice cream on. And so that's why I was thinking maybe we want the black. So why not create a bowl? So why not doodle a big bowl or maybe a fancy ice cream cup, which is I think what I'm going to do. So I'm just going to very quickly make sure you leave enough space, whatever you're doing, because your ice cream is going to go on top. So I'm going to go like this. Make it a little bit fancy. Okay, that's all you need to do. So this is going to be my ice cream fancy cup thing here. So that's a good way to start. Now we want to actually put the ice cream on here. The sticking is the last part. First we have to actually make what we want to stick on there. So this is basically what we're going to do, except here I did it in colored pencil. So if you're a colored pencil person, it's really fun to use colored pencil for this. Now, to do it alongside me, I'm just going to use markers because that's what I like. Highlighters would be really fun for this one too. So, your second sheet of paper, now that you have what you're actually going to stick your collage on, what you want to do is you want to think about dividing it maybe into 1/3, 2/3. So you're going to be cutting circles, or what I call potatoes, because they're never perfect circles, right? You're going to be sticking those on here, and those are the biggest ones. So that's why I would say 2/3 of your page should be whatever scribbles of whatever color or color combinations you want to use. So I'm going to go ahead and stick to yellow, and I'm just going to scribble all over this page, just like that, okay? Now keep in mind when you're cutting stuff out, you might end up with a lot of white space if you're scribbling with the, like, I guess what I'm trying to say is make sure you get lots of overlaps so you don't by chance cut something out that seems to be mostly white. Of course, you can always add more marker or whatever. Really, just do whatever you want. Okay, I think this is good enough. That can work as my vanilla or whatever that flavor was. And now I've got this space here, and you know all the little chunks of the little bits that go into Tutti Frutti. I'm going to use the rest of my colors for that. So Here we could go back to mark making. So if you saw the last play session, you could just do a bunch of overlapping doodles and zigzags and scales or scallop shapes or arcs or whatever you want. In the end, they end up looking pretty similar. You might see a little bit of difference between like if it's hatching or if it's just round and round and round, or if you did it really close and it starts to look more like a salad. These will get cut really small, so you want the color to be more textured. Otherwise, you might end up cutting a piece that has like one dot on it and the rest is white, which wouldn't be the end of the world, but anyway. So I'm going to do a lot of loop-de-loops and just go over it a few times. So there's the red. I'm going to go to blue. So you could try hatching, but like I said, make it nice and tight. That's going to work. I might do that again because I think that's going to work. You could try dots, but keep them close. Oh God, you know, I forgot to set that timer. I swear. So it looks like the quality of the video is better than last time. Okay, that could work. I'm going to do some more of that hatching. I'm just going to go diagonal this time. Like that. If you can get 6 or 8 colors on here, depends how many markers you have. If you only have 4 highlighters, that's fine too. You'll have your one main color and the 3 colors for the little bits. So loop-de-loops over and over again, leaving a little bit more white between the lines. Let's do a green. Zigzags on top of each other. You know, they kind of, when you overlap them a lot, they look pretty similar, but I guess I'm still maintaining a little bit of variety here. So I've got 2 colors left. Oh no, the yellow I'm not going to use. So I have a darker green and a darker blue. Really, I used all my colors. Okay. So I'm going to go back and do, let's see. I don't know if I can do the scallops tight enough, but maybe if they're really small. Okay, I'm going with it. That's kind of interesting. It looks like a net. One more color. How about I try to do something sort of bubbly? Like a bunch of circles, but they're overlapping. How about that? Does that look good? And you know, you can always make more. You know, you could even cut your bits and then color them afterwards. I just think it's more fun to do it this way. All right, we are ready. So which should I use for this? Well, because this shows up so much better on camera, I'll scan this and put it in the post, but we're going to work on this one. So now that you have your fodder, your collage fodder, we are going to, and I'm actually done with the postage, we're going to cut some ice cream balls. So the best way to cut circles is to start with a square. You heard it here. The best way to cut a circle is to start with a square. And I'm going to, and you know what? I keep all this. This to me is precious collage fodder. There is no waste here. So if you can grab a shoebox or a big envelope and start collecting these bits, when we make more collages, you will have everything you need. You won't even have to make make it, even though I think sometimes it's more fun to make the fodder than it is to make the collage. But anyway, no waste here. Keep those bits. Create a system for yourself where you can always just throw them in. I always say shoebox. I have shoeboxes everywhere. Just throw them in the shoebox. Write fodder, collage fodder on the outside of the box so you don't forget what's in there. Keep adding to it. When you get stuff in the mail that has images on it, keep adding to it. Oops, keep adding to it, keep adding. Okay, we're making ice cream balls. And I told you we'd start with a square. So I'm going to make one a little bit bigger. So I have sort of odd-shaped squares here. And so I might have 3 or 4. So this is what I'm going to use. Okay, now that you have a square, turn it into a circle. Just go round and round. If it looks like a potato, good for you. I'd give you a star. I used to have these stickers that were little stars. It's like, I put the star on your forehead if it looks like a potato. There we go. That's going to be. Now, if I pretend that this thing is made of glass, I can actually stick it in there like that, and I could go back in with the black pen so that we see the edge of that, if that matters to you. You know what? I may not have enough. Like, I have a lot of space here, so I'm going to make these circles as big as I can, because I just realized another potato. I just realized I have a lot of space. That's what happens when you're trying to do something and talk at the same time. Okay. Yeah, so you can see that I have a lot of space. Actually, the gluing isn't all the way at the end. The gluing is like at the end of each step. So I have this much left of the yellow. I'm going to grab my scrap paper, uncap my glue stick, and I'm going to go ahead and situate my potatoes thing, my ice cream balls. Okay. So it's already really hot here. I mean, really hot. I have the fan on. And I wasn't going to turn it on because I'm never sure if it creates like this background noise. But it would be an oven in here if I didn't have that ceiling fan on. And so why am I saying this? Because my glue stick is melting. I always know when the warm weather starts here because my glue sticks start melting. I'm going to keep a little bit of space between them, even though if it was a real ice cream, there wouldn't be any space between them. Okay. So there you go. I've got these 3 down. It's funny because you can see through the way the light is working today. You can see, you can see how they're there. You can see through the paper. That's kind of cool. So if you have a ruler or one of these paper folder thingies, the glue will take a few seconds to dry, or maybe a minute or 2, depending on the humidity. And now I'm going to, so do I want to add another one? I could add another one on top, but I think I'm going to wait. 3 is a good number. I like uneven numbers, odd numbers when it comes to compositions. And now I'm going to cut my little bits. And I want them to be chunky, so I'm not even going to worry about them being rounded or anything. I want them to be chunky, I think anyway. So the way you could go about this, since we've stacked them, is to cut yourself 2 strips where you get as many colors as you can. So I'm going to get 2 of these strips with 4 colors. So I'm going to have a lot of fodder left over. We'll be doing something else with this for sure. Right? And now I'm going to cut, again, I like odd numbers, so I'm going to cut 3 of each color. That's going to be 24 bits. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. I'm just going to do 2 of the dark green because that way I don't end up with 5 greens. 1, 2, 3. Or maybe I'll do the same with the dark blue. Only 2 of the dark blue because I have the light blue. So you can see how the difference between, and I'm just cutting it without, I'm just cutting it. I'm not looking at what I'm cutting. But sometimes you'll end up with a piece that's almost completely colored in, and sometimes you'll end up with a piece that still has a lot of white on it, and that's really nice. So we want to be as random as we can with what we're doing here. Okay, I've got all my little bits here. You see that? They're all like... And now I'm just going to start sticking them on, okay? Just start sticking them on. So turn them, I'm actually going to turn them over so that I'm looking at the back side. That makes it a little bit easier to not get my fingers all full of glue. The nice thing about these glue sticks is that they work really well with any kind of paper activity. And the cleanup is just with water. So if you get it on your hands, just washing your hands afterwards. When it dries, it's not sticky anymore to begin with. So, but if you accumulate a lot of it, then it does sort of start feeling a bit yucky on your fingers. All you need is a little wipe that you've wet with some water and okay. So everything is turned upside down here. Like you can barely see that. My glue stick is ready to go. And instead of now when I've done this with kids, they like to hold the glue stick like this and put the bit on there, move it around. But to me, that doesn't make any sense. So I go like this, and it's actually on my glue stick now. And I press a little bit, and then I slide it off, and I stick it on. So let's see if you can see me stick that on. Boop! Okay, I think I have way too many bits, because if that's 1 and I have 24, so, or maybe I cut them too big. But if I cut them too small, that's kind of a pain to stick them on. So maybe I'll end up with 12 instead of 24. I'll try to get as many different colors on here. This is a chunky, super chunky Tutti Frutti. So I hope you're following along with me. By the way, do you remember your favorite ice cream as a kid? And is it still the same ice cream you like today? I know the answer to mine is no. I don't like Tutti Frutti now. Now I'd be more into something like pistachio. Pistachio! Oh, you know what? I always think I'm going to love the coffee ice cream, and then I don't. It's like too sickly sweet. Does that make sense? I don't know why. But I did try a combination of coffee-flavored ice cream, like a scoop of coffee and a scoop of coconut. Coconut makes everything better. If you've never tried coconut ice cream. But if I could only have one flavor of ice cream for the rest of my life, I would go with matcha. I am a matcha freak when it comes to that stuff. Let's see. I have currently 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 6 colors down. It's looking pretty chunky to me. I love it. I don't have my purple. Where's my purple? There it is. Since I turned them upside down, I can't even really see. Purple! So maybe I... Oh, and pink! Oh my goodness, I haven't even put the light pink down. You know, I'm totally annoyed that with these markers I have, this is the only pink I have. Where's the hot pink? Give me 2 greens, give me 2 blues, and you don't give me 2 pinks? Or you just give me this and you don't give me lavender or lilac? Come on, people. Okay. I think I can go in and do 2 of each. This is round 1 and I put down 1. But you know what I might do? I might cut them down. So I'm going to go ahead and try to find the next set of 8 colors. And I'm going to cut them down just a wee bit to get a little variety here. Okay, I don't know what that was. To get a little variety here. And then we'll be done. So I'll try to be as quick as I can. And again, all these little bits, I'm saving them. These will come. I'll be so glad the next time I do one of these things and I've got all these little guys already ready to go. I am missing a green. I'm missing the greens. Okay. And one more. All right, let's do this. 8 more little bits to go. Slightly smaller. And now I can have a little tissue here. So now I can actually pay attention to where that color already is. So I don't put, like I see there's a light blue here. So now I'm going to put this blue. I'm not going to put it in the same ice cream ball. I'm going to alternate, of course. So this is where you get to your eye will immediately guide you to where you want to put that thing. And you just go with it. Just go with it. Let yourself be guided by your intuition. It's hot, y'all. My glue stick isn't working. Okay. Have a red left. And what color is this? And I have a dark green left. Oh, look at that. I put that one in the wrong place. Okay. Okay, I'm calling it a day. Maybe I want one more little piece. Yeah, I'm going to do one more little piece. And then I'm calling it a day. Okay. Here we go. That's it, y'all. Here's my Tutti Frutti ice cream. Yay! So I hope you, oh yeah, and then like I said, if you wanted, you could go back in and trace over that line. Since it's in the bowl, you could do that. You could decorate the bowl if it's one of those fancy schmancy glass. I'm just going to add some dots here. Okay. If it's, a fancy schmancy kind of thing. There you go. I hope you had fun. And I hope you enjoyed hanging out with me. And I hope you can see how easy it is to take a little play break and how collage is so much fun. And you can make your own collage fodder in just minutes. And so I hope you'll come back and join me for the next Artsy-Fartsy Joy Club play session. Bye